Before I get started, I want to start by gathering all the business data, whether I find this information myself or I get it from the actual business owner. This way, I don't have to stop what I'm doing to go find information or to wait for my client to get back to me. As I mentioned, I like to track all of this information in a well-organized spreadsheet that I can keep handy as I work. This is also really great if you outsource all or some of the work, as your team can reference it or add to it. So let's have a look at this spreadsheet. As you can see here, we have several tabs across the bottom of this Excel spreadsheet, and this is where we are going to be collecting a lot of the information that we will need throughout this SEO process. And so we are going to be referring to this document as we go through the course, as we're collecting information and referring back to it. So let's just take a look at some of the information that's here so you can get familiar with this spreadsheet. You'll notice that there are several tabs here across the bottom, and each refers to a different part of the course that we'll be going through and a different part of the SEO process. So at the very beginning of the spreadsheet, we start with the basic business information. And this is information you can start gathering really without the help of the client. You just want to get their basic NAP information, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But NAP is simply name, address, and phone number. And this is where you're going to list out all of the basic contact information here at the top. Also, any other business information here, if they have specific location landing pages, if they have specific business hours. We will need all of this later on in the course. And this is going to be very important for ranking both in the Google local pack as well as organically later. If they're on social media, we want to go ahead and note that down here as well, because we're just trying to get an overall view here of the business. But moving on, there is a list of questions here. Now, some of these you can answer yourself. Others, you're going to want to actually speak with the client and get this information from them. So we're going to start off by asking them to verify the name of their business, their address, their phone number, just as we did on the first sheet. But we want to make sure that they haven't gone by any other names, they've had any different phone numbers. And we'll use this more when we start talking about citations in just a bit. But we also want to look at the average value of their customers so we can get an idea of how much a new client is actually going to be worth to them. This will help us decide which keywords to go after, as we'll talk about here shortly as well. So this goes on and looks at some social proof type questions, from what type of certifications do they have or awards, what customers do they have, etc. Then we're going to start talking about some specific website questions, getting an idea of what SEO work has been done before, a little bit of history about their website, and understanding what their goals are as well. Moving on, we are going to look at some account questions. We are going to be setting up some accounts for the client if they do not already have these set up. So this will help us to know if they've already done that work and where they are in the process, so we can finish that up for them. Now, we also have a few questions about their website related to SEO. How many backlinks they have, domain authority, trust flow. If those are not terms that are familiar to you at this point, don't worry, we are going to cover that. That's not something the website owner is likely going to know, but we'll talk about where to find that out and how that's going to be helpful to you. In the next tab, this is where we're going to start tracking our keywords that we find so we can figure out which ones are going to be the best ones to go for and track them right here as well. Now, a competition analysis, this is going to compare the client website to their online competitors. And I actually like to start my competition analysis by analyzing the website that I am working on. So you'll see that there are several metrics that I look at over here, and I want to know what those metrics are for my own website or for my client's own website. And then that way, when I list all the competitors below and their metrics, I have an easy way to compare where they are and compared to the website I'm working with. Next, we're going to look at on-page optimization, and this is a checklist of sorts, and it walks you through everything that we're going to do to fully optimize the website before we move on to off-site optimization and link building. So this will walk through each step from creating accounts to on-page optimization techniques that we'll cover in detail, and just even moving on to some off-site factors as well. Next, we are going to look at local business citations, and we are going to go into this in depth in a bit, but this is really how you're going to be able to rank a local business website in the Google Local Pack. And this is where we are going to track all of the information about citations so that we can track what we're doing and what has been done, what hasn't been done. On the next tab, we're going to be looking at backlinks, and this is also going to help us with ranking organically in search engines, but we want to keep track of the backlink opportunities that we come across, which ones we have gone after, which ones that we will be going after next, and this can just help keep us organized. Lastly, we are going to keep track of any 301 redirects, and this is really if you will be creating new URLs for a website and redirecting old pages to new pages that you'll create. Don't worry too much about that right now. That's yet another topic that we will go into in detail. Now, several of these topics, from backlinks and keywords and rankings in the Google Local Pack or organically, a lot of these we are going to look at with tools. We'll be able to track this information with some tools as well. So I will show you both, and you'll be able to decide which works best for you. So feel free to keep this spreadsheet handy, and you can use it as we go through the course as you are working to rank your own client website. And also, if you want to pull in the use of some tools, you can use that as well and track the information any way that is best